Hi everybody, I have some more bridezillas for you. Bridezilla forbade the groom being in any photos without her. Just as the title states, I used to be her maid of honor, and she was having a rant to be about how horrible her future mother-in-law was because she wanted a wedding photo of the groom with his two sisters. She thought it was disrespectful to her as the bride. I tried to talk some sense into her, but I only succeeded in her consenting to a few photos without her in them. It's worth noting that she wanted an entire photo shoot of just her. Come on, stop being entitled. I'm an a-hole for refusing to go to my best friend's wedding because of her bad attitude towards my girlfriend. I am a 27-year-old woman, and my fiance Emily has been dating and recently engaged for the last 2 months. Everyone important / friends and family knows about us and is happy for us to be finally engaged. At least that's what I thought. Emily has been battling cancer the last few months, and because of chemo is bald. She has really bad self-esteem and confidence because of it, among other things, and it hasn't really left the house since finding out about her diagnosis. A mutual friend of ours was engaged when Emily found out about her diagnosis and was originally asked to be a maid of honor, but now she's bald, was asked to wear a wig to cover her bald head because it didn't suit her style of photography she was going for in her wedding. Emily came home crying after looking for bridesmaids' dresses after she was demanded which wigs to wear by the bride and told me felt uncomfortable about attending the wedding. I felt like this was rude and said to the bride that Emily was uncomfortable with her treatment, and her reply back was that she felt uncomfortable about bald bridesmaids and that if she didn't wear a wig, she wasn't allowed to attend the wedding. I told her that we both wouldn't be attending, but now we have left her 2 bridesmaids short a week before the wedding. Am I an a-hole? No, you're not an a-hole. That is so rude of her to be that rude about somebody's diagnosis. Like, I'm sorry. Not the a-hole. I was almost a bridesmaid for a bridezilla. My 25 female friend, the bride, 32 female, asked me to be her maid of honor in August of 2020. Her wedding is July 2020. She also selected her 3 other bridesmaids at the time: K28, J26, H27, groom's 28 sister. In January of 21, bride hit planning mode hard. She wanted me to start to plan her hen party and wouldn't take no for an answer or listen to reason that it was too early to do so. She made a group chat of the people she wanted to invite, told everyone I was in charge, and they had 12 hours to respond or they would be uninvited and removed from the list. I and K and J were trying to talk to her, but she wouldn't hear it. She ended up removing her mom from the list before deleting the list, saying it was too early anyways. Bride hated groom's sister and didn't want her as a bridesmaid, but felt pressured by the mother-in-law. Bride talked into messaging H to tell her she would no longer be a bridesmaid as she was showing no enthusiasm. So with H out of the picture, the planning went into high drive. She would arrange video calls with us bridesmaids and would keep us on for 6 hours getting ready if you said you had to come off the call. Because I was her maid of honor, I had it worse than the other 2. 4 or 5 nights a week, she would video call me to talk about her wedding. Bride asked us bridesmaids to not only babysit her children during the reception, but to also intervene if we saw them talking to someone we didn't recognize. She also wanted us to act as bouncers and remove any unwanted or unruly guests from the venue. Bride insisted to making the seating chart before she even sent out invitations, not listening to reason that made no sense. Bride asked Kay to make all of her decorations and bouquets out of paper. Kay agreed, but Bride didn't want to pay for it. She heard the cost of what the paper would cost to buy and was unhappy about that, so she planned not to pay Kay for her time making it. A few months later, Bride found cheaper things, so bought them, leaving Kay with lots of samples and out of pocket. Bride didn't even tell Kay. I did because I didn't want her to waste any more money. Through all of this, Bride was complaining that groom wasn't helping and didn't care about the wedding. Accurate. He didn't care and didn't want to get married. I planned more of his wedding than he did. He didn't have any input into the guest list, the seating chart, invitations, color scheme, nothing. Bride liked to joke that she had forced him to propose, and while he was busy ignoring his family for his Xbox, not caring about his wedding, Bride would post daily on social media about how amazing he was. Bride's daughter 9 was going to be the flower girl, so Bride bought the dress online in June 21, just hoping she'd fit into it. Bride, when asking us to be bridesmaids, said she would pay for our hair, makeup, nails. She demanded we get our nails done and dress. This very quickly changed. It didn't matter to her that Jay was a nurse, so getting her nails done would be both impractical and a waste of money. In August 21, Bride made another hen party, which she left after telling everyone I was in charge. For her hen party, she wanted a long weekend away in a lodge with a hot tub. Bride wanted her friends from Uni to be in the wedding party, but not a bridesmaid, so she decided on a train bearer. This lasted a few months until the friend went 1 week without speaking to the bride, therefore being uninvited from the wedding. Bride stopped asking us how we were doing, and everything became about her. She didn't know that Jay had split up from her partner of 5 years until 4 months after it happened. This was around September of 21. It was at this time that the bride decided to remove Jay as a bridesmaid because Jay obviously wasn't a real friend. There was no longer a bridesmaid because the bride had deleted it after she sent a message and nobody had seen it in 4 hours, making us bad friends. Anyways, bride decided she would not tell Jay that she was no longer a bridesmaid. She wanted me to remove Jay from the hen party and to only tell her why if Jay asked me. Jay is a friend of mine and I was not going to do that, so I told Kay, who is Jay's best friend, and Kay took care of it. Jay resigned as a bridesmaid and Bride didn't think anything was amiss. She thought it was a fortunate coincidence. Kay spoke to me shortly after this and told me she was only still here because of me, because she didn't want me to deal with this nightmare alone. So we both resigned and closed the door on the friendship with her. Bonus: Bride bought a dress secondhand. It was unworn and unaltered, heavy satin with a huge skirt and train. It was $700 and included a veil. She wanted to add long sleeves. It was strapless, a layer of lace over the full skirt, glitter to the top, a bustle or removable train. Change it from a zip back to a corset back because then will fit me no matter what I weigh. She thought this was going to cost no more than $200. Edit: I had forgotten, but Bride had booked a meal package included in her venue, one where children under 12 got kiddie food, nuggets or mac and cheese. She asked people whose kids were under 12 if the kid wanted an adult meal instead, and then shamed those who said no. Wow, I don't understand. What is wrong with brides? Crazy. I'm glad you guys backed out and resigned because that's too much. My friend is getting married this summer. I have just been advised that we are required to be at her venue at 7 a.m. for hair and makeup. She is not having a ceremony this day and the reception is in the evening. I have 2 small children and their preschool does not open until 7 a.m. and I am an hour away. I would be an hour late. I have asked the bride what the time slot is for hair and makeup and if I can be a little late so I can get my kids to school and be one of the last people to go. There's about 8 people doing hair and makeup, but she refuses to tell me the time slot. I have asked her to simply ask the hair and makeup company if it would be an issue, and she also refused to do this. I am just told you're to be here at 7, so the time slot doesn't matter. You were sent a save the date a year ago. You are the only one causing me stress and making your problems my problems. And there's no excuse here. I have brought up the point that if I am just sitting there for hours, does this need to be such a big deal? She basically told me if I'm not there at 7 a.m., I don't need to be in her wedding. I have already purchased a dress. I just feel this is extremely unreasonable and spend so much money to be in someone's wedding. There is no application for this, and this is how they deem it acceptable to treat you with demands. I'm sorry. It's terrible. Don't do it. Anyways, if you guys like it,